Hello gamers, and welcome back to another episode of Solo Spelunking. And this will be another product showcase, so basically a self-promotional video where I will showcase my newest release on Drive-Thru RPG, which is Streamlined Outlaws in the Outer Fringe. And this is a space opera sandbox board role-playing game of smugglers, outlaws, mercenaries, and bounty hunters on the fringes of a war-torn galaxy using the Streamlined Superheroes game engine. Yeah, so what is this? This is the third game in I call it now my Outer Fringe line of games. So we had Outlaws in the Outer Fringe, which was the first game, and it uses a 2D6 C-Voice engine. Then we had Stardark Adventures in the Outer Fringe, which converted Outlaws in the Outer Fringe to Shadow Dark rules and turned it into a cooperative game. And now we have this, which uses the Streamlined Superheroes game engine created by John Fredericks from Sharp Mountain Games. And I featured this in an actual play on my channel. So the important thing is this is not a standalone product. This is basically an add-on, a modification, a plug-in, call it what you will, for Streamlined Superheroes. So it's not standalone, meaning you do not get the Streamlined Superhero rules for checks, combat, character creation, and advancement, but this product references those rules, so you would need both of these products. And also, if you already own one of the other games that I mentioned, you will find similarities because, like I used to say, they all share the same DNA, the same game principle, but every game is custom tailored to its specific rule set. So, what is this? This is a mixture of a role-playing and a board game. So I'm using a board game like structure and game loop where you play in rounds, and every round consists of 3 phases to reach a predetermined objective, which is to get 10 points of renown. Those are basically victory points. So in a cinematic sense, you want to build a name for yourself, a reputation for yourself and your crew in the sector of the Outer Fringe that you play in. And this game features a sandbox play style where you generate randomly a sector in the Outer Fringe consisting of 12 star systems, and you can move freely between those systems and deliver cargo, hunt bounties, and accomplish other jobs that give you renown. And I will give you a quick flip through this document. So first thing is, you will find this document is very easy to navigate and very easy to use at the table in electronic form. If you have a smaller tablet than I have here, this is pretty big, but like, I don't know, 10-inch tablet or anything, because the table of content is hyperlinked, meaning if you press on, let's just say, creating your sector in the Outer Fringe, if I press here, it brings me to this page, creating your sector in the Outer Fringe, and if I push on the page number down here, I go back to the table of contents. So you can easily navigate this PDF during play. If you want to go to the planetary actions to see what you can do, you go to the planetary actions, and then if you want to resolve planetary encounters, you just click planetary encounters, and you are exactly where you need to be. So this is something to make it easier to use this electronic PDF at the table, so you don't necessarily have to print it out or anything. It is an A5 size 70-page PDF. All right, so we talked about the table of content and how to navigate the document. So you get an introduction, and this is the same introduction that all the other games feature as well. So I'm I'm going to be upfront about it. Obviously, I reused some of the text I already had, but I repurposed and retweaked it to custom tailor to the new engine. But of course, like the introduction, for those of you who own the other games will be familiar. I'll give you an overview of the game. So it is a board game using a role-playing game engine, and the objective is to get to 10 renown. So here I outline the process of generating your sector. So you need a hex map for that, and I link to suitable products that are free to download on DriveThruRPG in the appendix. And then in chapter 2 is where I talk about the rules. So chapter 1 is like the setup. How do you create your character? How do you create your sector where you play in? Give you an overview, your ship stats, what are the skills you can choose for your character. And here we have the rules. So I explain what you can do to get renown. And for every point of renown, you also get 2 XP. And whenever you reach 12 XP, you level up according to the rules of Streamlined Superheroes. And you can also get XP by spending money and carouse, like in Shadow Dark, to spend money to gain XP, basically. So this is also in here. So here you can see what you need to do to get renown. It goes a little bit in how checks are written in the game. So like I said, the rules for the checks are in Streamlined Superheroes, but how I write what you have to roll is explained here. I go in a little bit into challenges, which is where you have a certain number of checks that you need to complete to get rid of a certain number of hurdle points. Pretty neat mechanic. I give you an example. And then we go into the different phases of the round. So the round has a movement phase, an encounter phase, and an action phase. Every character in your crew, like I said, you play this solo or cooperatively, playing one or more heroes, can take 1 action. If you play with only a single hero, you can take 2 actions in the planetary action phase. So that is the round. Then I talk a little bit about combat. And then again, combat is handled in the Streamlined Superhero rule set, but what you will find in here is Starship combat rules. So these are unique to this product. They use the Streamlined Superheroes engine, but they add some things like ship stats, different crew positions, etc., without becoming too complicated or overwhelming. So you got the Starship combat rules here. With the evade maneuver. This is a maneuver you can do at the start of combat to try to escape combat, to try to evade enemy ships, and if that fails, it's a challenge. You go into Starship combat, and you have different crew positions that you can take as a character, and every character on your ship can take 1 action during every combat round. Then I talk a little bit about damage, healing, and repairs. The wanted mechanic, of course, if you deliver illegal or transport illegal cargo, or have illegal modifications on your ship, or carry illegal equipment, you are considered wanted. And the wanted is like a keyword that is referenced by some encounters like military patrols or bounty hunters. Then I describe the 4 different world types that are in the game. So we have the military blockade planets, so planets that are blockaded by the military imperium. It is very dangerous there for wanted individuals, but if you're not wanted, actually they're pretty safe because there's not much crime there. It's also hard there to make contact with the black market and the underworld. But if you are wanted, it can be pretty rough there, and this is why if you deliver illegal goods to a system under blockade, you gain a renown, for example. So then we have the classic metropolitan trade hub, the planet-wide city. This is the place to be to upgrade your ship, to buy cargo, because on all purchases you get a 10% discount on all cargo, illegal cargo, gear, etc. Purchases. So that's the Metropolitan Trade Hub. Then, of course, we have our crime planets like Nar Shaddaa, or the lower levels of Coruscant, or other things. So this is obviously Star Wars inspired, but without the serial number. So we have the Wretched Hive of Scum and Villainy world type. There it is easy to make contact with the underworld, and there you will also not encounter Imperial forces. So, and we have the Unremarkable Dump, which is like the deserted, think Jakku, think Tatooine, or what was it? The refinery in the Solo movie at the end, where they had to process their hyperfuel. What was it? These, like, where there's nothing going on really. So the thing here is, whenever you want to buy stuff, you gotta first roll on a d6 to see if the item is actually available. You gotta roll a 4+. So these are the least attractive planets in the game, and you generate your sector randomly. Then in the action phase, there's a set list of planetary actions that you can take, like gamble, buy cargo, sell cargo, repair your ship, buy gear, buy illegal gear, locate a bounty target, fight a bounty target, obtain a job from the underworld, attempt to complete a job, deliver provided cargo or disembark transported passengers. So all the things you would do in a busy spaceport, this is what the planetary actions are for. And then chapter 3 details the encounter and job tables. So we have encounters for when you're in deep space encounter table. So when you're traveling through hyperspace and you're not in a you move not in a planetary system, you would roll a deep space encounter table. Then the military blockade planets have their own encounter table for planetary and space encounters. And then we have the system space encounters. Those are the ones when you arrive in a new system. You have to resolve 2 encounters, 1 space and 1 planetary encounter. When you don't move, you just resolve a planetary encounter on the system you're at. So those are these tables. And then we have the jobs. So the jobs, I give you a little cinematic or a flavorful description. Like, for example, the job is, and you determine randomly if you look for a job and you succeed at your check, you got to make like a streetwise or interaction check, which is like your social skill. You roll randomly on this job table, and let's say roll a 1. So the job would be infiltration and data extraction. And the text is, you are hired to infiltrate an opposing faction's dwelling, get to a specified computer terminal, extract confidential data, and escape. And every job lists the checks you have to complete in order. I've tried to pick fitting skills, like here, strength athletics, you need to climb, then dex stealth, you need to sneak. Then you have to overcome security systems, so you make a security systems check, and then you have to slice into computer systems, so you make a systems operation check. And you do every check once, and at the end, when you're done with all your checks, and this is where the rules come into play from Streamlined Superheroes with the effect die, you have to have these hurdle points, which are 12 in this case. You have to have them reduced to 0. If that is successful, the job is a success. Otherwise, it's a failure. And then it lists payment and renown that you get. So these are the jobs. And then finally, we have a small section dealing with gear, weapons, and upgrades. So you can buy weapons. You can upgrade weapons. You can buy armor. You can modify your ship. And you can also buy some personal gear that assists you in certain tasks, basically. Then we have the carousing section. So this is inspired by Shadow Dark. It means you have to pay credit. So carousing is a planetary action. You have to take this action to carouse. You can do this only once per round, and the whole crew participates. So you got to pay money. Depending on how much money you pay, you get a bonus on your carousing roll. Your carousing roll is a D8. So you roll a D8, you add the bonus, you find the result on this outcome table. It tells you what happens, and it tells you how many XP you get. Like I said, you can do this once per round. And whenever you get to 12 XP, you level up. After you level up, your XP are reset to 0. So in every 12 XP, basically you advance your character according to the rules of Streamlined Superheroes. So those are the carousing rules. And then we have the appendix, where I link to suitable hex sheets. I'll give you a little simple random name generator for system names. I provide you with optional victory condition rules if you play cooperatively, and those are usually the rules that I use, where the game is not over when you're dead, but where you roll a die at the end of every round to see if an invisible opponent that works against you off camera gains a renown, so like a Doom track mechanic, and whoever gets to 10 renown first basically would win the game. Yeah, so, and if you live a smuggler's life, you have to seize every opportunity, as you can see here. And here we have an outlaw crew ready for adventure in the Outer Fringe, and this is the product. And if you want to see it in action, check out my second series, because the first series used a different game version. The second series, it's like only 3 episodes of the adventures of young Nash Duncan in the Outer Fringe, young Nash Duncan and Lula in the Outer Fringe. And the second campaign uses this game system, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, this is it. You can get it for $2.49. Yeah, check out all my other products, and thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next video. And look, isn't that great? We're back at the table of content. So that is Streamlined Outlaws in the Outer Fringe. Thank you for watching. As always, stay safe and stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.